Hello, good evening. You're very welcome here this evening for our, what will be our final Erica Synths EDU buildy thing. Yes. Oh yes. I haven't checked my audio levels. Hope you can hear me okay. I'm just going to assume that you can until you scream in the chat that you can't. So, so here we are. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had a cold for 3 weeks. It's been really nasty. I can't seem to shake it. I hope everybody else is doing all right out there, because it's not a nice thing, I have to say. But here we are. I'm going to hold it together, I believe, and go through this, our final little build of just a little module, just this little thing here. Now, if you were with us last week, you'll know that we went through this on a breadboard, and we got pretty far. We did some folding. We saw folding from the top and from the bottom. We saw how we used to do that, and it was through connecting those bits together that really produced the foldiness. Well, I'm sure it's something to do with op amps. It's always something to do with op amps. It was a transistor overloading. It was pushing a transistor to the point where, rather than just reflecting or moving voltage through it, then somehow started increasing or something. It was something like that. See, the key to these builds is that you actually absorb and retain some of the information. Sadly, that's not always my strong point, but that doesn't matter either. You can go through this at any level you choose. You can come out of the other end a complete master, or come out having not learned a thing. That's okay. As long as the process itself was fun, as long as what you did was enjoyable, then that's enough, I think. Saturation of a transistor. Thanks, Rob. Hopefully my voice will stay together. But I've just had a nice lem sip, so that should help improve me. Is everything working? Everything going? Maybe I'll turn my fan on already, just so I don't forget. Put that in there. I'll also just charge up my oh dear, the soldering iron, because we'll be doing that sort of stuff in a minute. Right, not going to need that for the minute. Let's put that gangly thing over the back. Oh, like that. I feel like I haven't prepared myself, which would probably be true, because I haven't really prepared myself. Now, where's that going? That is going to nowhere, so let's not have that in there. Obviously, in the cinematic version of this build, I'll cut those sorts of bits out. Right, that's good. Things catching fire. Catching fire is not a good look, generally speaking. Don't think I'll need that. Get that out of the way. I think I've gone crazy on brushes lately. Right, we're there. A little bit like that. I can go like that. Oh, stick a bit of water in my sponge. I got told off for using a sponge. I can't remember why that was. But, you know, I just use an amalgam of things that I'm told to do. Right, let's turn that on. Let that do its heating up thing over there, because that's what we're doing. We're doing the soldering bit. Don't need that brush. Good, are we all settled? That, bunch of stuff. Might need those, might need the solder sucker. Bam! Not going to need the mouse too often. Might need me clippers. Can we see that? Yes, we can. Good, right. Well, I'm a little bit more settled now. Good. I hope you are. I'll need me magnifiers. So if you've not come to one of these before, you're very, very welcome. Well, where the hell have you been? I've been doing it for 10 months. We started back in January. What do you matter with you? But, you know, if you haven't been, you're very welcome. and we are going to build the Wavefolder. This is from the Erica Synths EDU DIY series, produced by Moritz Klein on the whole, who's... Jay, there's more deck cards to do. Just leave it. We'll get back to that, okay? I promise you. And these are designed in order to help us understand, synthesize the circuitry and modules. So it's not just a kit to build, although you can see it in that way. It comes with an excellent manual that we have, I think, together worked on over these past 10 months to just improve and to test out and to run through and explain and find ourselves mystified by. And that's been a great thing. And all of these resources put together really do give you the best chance I've seen of learning about circuit design. And it's been an interesting, bumpy road sometimes. It's been a little bit up and down with things we don't always understand and other things which have been completely off the wall. But I feel at the end of it, that I do know a lot more about circuit design than I did. I can't now go and design a circuit, I don't think, but I could go back through the resources and see and identify and understand things as we go, and that's quite remarkable. And it's just been fun learning about the electronics. It's been fun putting these modules together, and at the end of it, we've got this rather fabulous complete modular system, which is now available. You can now buy the whole lot as a kit. It's like €600, and you can sit down for a couple of weeks and build it, and it will be fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It has been emotional, Rob, yes, at times it has. I don't quite have enough of the right sort of nut to hold it all together, but never mind, these things will come. Now, there is a possibility that we'll do a bit of jamming at the end of today's session once we've got it all working. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a separate video. I feel like I want to do like a summary video that just focuses on talking about that as a whole, with a few clips over the countless hours that we've recorded. Perhaps if I can be bothered to do all of that. I don't know. We shall see. But I would, of course, like to thank you for staying with me. Particularly, I mean, there's been some people in the chat who have been there for every session, and you know, it's appreciated. I think it's fabulous. I feel very grateful and humbled that you want to spend this sort of time looking at these sorts of things with me. That just blows my mind, really. So thank you ever so much for supporting my channel, supporting my building, supporting the Erica Synths work here. And yeah, I just want you to know that I'm extraordinarily grateful for that. So thank you very much indeed. Right, in no further ado, let's have a look at what we're doing. Build guide, here we go. So if you're expecting to look through the breadboarding of this module, then you're going to have to look at the previous video. For this, we're going to get straight in to building the thing. Now I might need to measure some resistors because I pulled them all apart, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. Maybe we'll do a little as we go, because I haven't got the ability to... I just haven't got the ability. Right, so there's a little bit of talk. It talks about looking at the schematics, which we'll do. I'll bring this over here a little bit. Oh, don't do that, will you? Careful now. That's okay. Just bringing the microphone over. So it's a little bit more in front of me. That looks okay. I think that's okay. So Undermined Audio asks, do you feel that you understand electronics much better after these builds? Yeah, I think I do. I think I do. I mean, I guess the flaw in my approach is that there's quite a long gap between each build. You know, one comes out every month, and so by the time we get back to it, my ability to retain the information that we learnt on the build before has got lesser and lesser and lesser. So in some ways, I don't, you know, you get this learning bit and then it drops and learn and then drops. And ideally it should continue to rise, but mine's a little bit more like just a pure sawtooth wave. Because sometimes I feel like when I start a new module, I'm coming back to the beginning again. But however, there's always familiarity that I'm seeing within the manuals that I think is good and useful. And so I feel I am building upon it. Certainly my usage of the breadboard is far better than it was. My ability to spot different things and understand different things. All of that is has really come on, and understanding the manual and how that works. So yeah, definitely. I think so, definitely. And I think also if you approach this yourself, there's a lot more information in the manuals than I ever actually go into. So there's a lot deeper stuff in there. And because time is my enemy, unfortunately, I haven't really spent the time going into that level of detail myself off camera, because sometimes things just take too long. So so in terms of learning circuit design for me personally, it hasn't been entirely successful, but it has been successful to a degree. And I can see the potential of it being extraordinarily successful to people who are prepared to put the time in to study the documents and to read through them and to properly absorb what's going on. Does that make sense? I mean, I can't. The danger with me is if I learn too much, I'll ruin my whole, newbie shtick. You know what I mean? It'll turn me into an expert, and then I'll be of no use to anybody. So in order to maintain my newbie blundering about kind of vibe, I've had to not really learn a thing. So anyway, let's not get distracted. So although distracted by questions is always good, always good. Good, right. So what do we have? I don't know. All right, there's things to see. Stock key diodes, 10 ohm resistors, ferrite bead. Oh, do we have one of those? I haven't spotted it. No, we'll worry about it when it happens. Slow fuses, capacitors, decoupling capacitors. So let me turn on the right bit. Is that the right bit? Oh yeah, that's the right bit. A little bit. That's the overview. So it's that one that I want really. So let's have a look at the schematic. Just briefly. So we have this input over here. Excuse me. So yes, right, we had to turn a sawtooth wave into a triangle wave because our VCO only creates square waves and sawtooth waves. So we had to sort of fold the first triangle wave into the first sawtooth wave into a more sine wave style thing. And so with our schematic here, we've got some shenanigans going on with an op amp, of course, because that seems to be what always happens. And that is taking us in to this pair of transistors, and it's the overloading of those that does the folding, and that's taking us into another feedback circuit, which then gives us another fold, which then goes another one to out. So it's relatively simple, really. So, but this is the folding, so a double fold, one fold, two fold. Down here we have this is the saw to triangle conversion, which is not a double fold, and it's not necessarily a positive, a folding at the top and the bottom. This is a fold of just once to give us the triangle, and that's what this bit is. See, I remember things. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Right. So this is what we're soldering. It's not a particularly deep one. I reckon we'll be done. We'll be done quicker than you think. See all of that? No, I can't see anything. Okay, so that's given us a clue as to what everything is. Is it marked on the board itself? Yeah, it's a bit crowded in here, so we might need that diagram. More than usual. Okay. So because all of the resistors are done up as stuck up ones, top down. Hi, Morik in Pennsylvania. Can we see this? See that there? This is my workspace. See that? All right, good. Yeah, so normally speaking on a PCB, you'd be putting in resistors first because they tend to be the lowest component. But on this board, we're sticking them all up this way round. Okay, here's a question for you, right? This is completely unrelated to what we're doing. My C3000, which is my microphone here, you can see that? Yeah, it's already in shot, you dipstick. This is giving off a slightly strange smell. Which is, I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just saying. Is that a sign that the thing's going to blow up? I've had it a long time, 20 years or so. Anyway. So, yeah. So instead, the lowest bits and pieces are going to be the diodes, of which I can see none. That's good. Well, there's these ones, but these are the power diodes. Are there no other diodes in this build? None at all. How exciting. So just these. Right, so less talk, more getting on with it. So let's put these in. So these are for power protection. They go around the power supply bit. Need to make sure we get the orientation right, because the diode only lets stuff through in one direction. That's its whole purpose. And these go in here. I'm going to get a bit closer. So these go in here. That way around, obviously. So it matches. The line matches the line, yeah? Pull it through, bend the legs a little bit. And the other one goes down here. Good. It also suggests putting in the capacitors, so it seems. And then the dip socket. Dip socket, is that going to be higher or lower than? Difficult to say. Is it an electrical smell? It's difficult to say. It's an odd smell. It doesn't smell like burning plastic. Quite. I mean, it smells a bit more like burning dust. I mean, that might just be that. Difficult to put my finger on. So the dip socket here goes all the way across this fella here. You want to keep that nick along with the nick on the thing. I just want to see whether this is going to be very tall or whether I should do this now. I could do this now. But why don't we do these bits as they are, just these bits together, just to get us warmed up. I think that would be good. Now you can do all sorts of clever things. Keep this in there. because when you turn it upside down, it tends to fall out. Ooh, just about kept it in there. But you can, with something this big or this small, you can just kind of turn it over and put it down, and it's going to survive. It is going to survive. Now I'm going to put something under here just to keep it a bit more level, so that I can get this dip switch in here nice and level. Indeed, what does electricity smell like? An ozone-y smell? Maybe. Like I said, I mean, if I knew what it smelled like, I'd say, oh, it smelled like raspberries. But, you know, I don't know. It's just I've used it. I use it a lot, and I've not come across it until I think it was last week. No, it was doing Nick's thing last week, doing the Sonic State. Suddenly thought, that's an odd smell. Safety goggles on. And I might be being slowly poisoned, but what the heck is in a condenser mic? It's probably a spider. Right, safety goggles on. A little bit of solder over here in the thing. Jam it in stuff I'm supposed to jam it in. Get this here. Where the heck is my solder? Right over here. Okay. Got my wheel. My never-ending wheel of never-ending solder. Then what we're going to do is I've messed that all up now. Put that back in, make sure it's the right way round, facing the right way in all the holes. I might even just nip it over, stop it falling out a little bit. Cool. Turn it upside down, resting it on a thing. Is that in shot? So many things to think about. Like that. And what I would do is heat a little leg here, or heat a pad and a leg, hopefully. Just give it a minute or a second or two, and then present it with some solder. Let it squidge over everything. Try to hold it and release the solder. That should be fine. I'll do an opposite corner just to give it some structure. Nice. Now I'll just go along the whole lot. I find these are one of the easiest things to solder in the game because they're super thin. You've got room to put your iron on the pad and against the leg. You can present the solder from the leg side and it kind of goes on, except for this one where it's just not doing it. And it flows nicely, looks beautiful. You feel like you're doing the job properly. Good, well that's lovely. That's all those dip switch, I don't know, what is it called? Dip socket, thank you. Now these take longer because of their thick long legs, just drags all the heat away. So you just got to give it a little bit more time. And then poke it with your solder. Move it around a little bit, make sure there's enough surface area hitting on the bits you need to heat. And then leave it on there. You should see the solder sort of move from being a bead around the soldering iron to clamping itself around the leg, which is what you're after. After that sort of volcano look. It starts off just going up the iron a bit. Lovely, lovely. Okay, good start, lovely. Take those legs off. And then it was suggesting that these little capacitors went on. Of which I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on there. I've got a 104 and 104, 104. They're all 104s, and on here they go 0.1 microfarad. There, stuffed in there somewhere, and there. That looks good. Let's do those. All right. See, that just went straight up the iron, but then it clawed itself back onto the leg. Come on. What am I doing? Okay, that's not awesome, but it'll do, I think. Sometimes just getting it on there is difficult. Just want to sort of keep changing the angle a little bit, and then you'll hit the sweet spot where you've got enough contact on both the pad and the leg, and then it'll just work, you know, just like that, just perfectly. Sometimes it just won't, and you just got to keep adjusting a little bit, trying again, coming away from it, going back to it. You know, not every single solder joint is smooth and lovely. At least in my experience. Your experience, of course, may be one of flowers and rainbows in a soldering sense. Right, good. That's a little bit. In order to save some space, vertical resistors, yeah, okay. Is that what's next? A whole bunch of those. Right, so yeah, no, this really is a nice, should be a nice quick build. So from here, I'm just going to bring this camera angle in a little bit. So I'm not reaching quite so far. That's better. Okay, wake up, wake up. So resistors, let's have a look at all of those. See what I can find. These are 1Ks. There's a bunch of 1Ks. Maybe I should put all those in first. Those are not 1Ks. Now I pulled these all out of the breadboard, so they're a little bit awry as to what each of them is. That is a 1K. And I don't really want to measure them all again because that's just a bit boring. That's not a 1K, but it's of the same sort of family. That's a 1K. The rest of these are fairly labelled. That's a blue one, blue one, blue one. Technical language there, blue ones. There's some green ones. That's that red one, like that other red one, which is that lot, 20K. Right, let's see if I put these 1Ks in first then. Seem to have 4 of those, although this would indicate that I had 5. Or is that? That's a 1K, but it's in the wrong orientation. As in, I wouldn't have put it in like that in the breadboard, so that's probably a spare from something else. Hey, let's just crash our way through, see what happens. And just excuse me while I blow my nose. Thanks, Panda. That's appreciated. Nice thing to say. Excuse me. Okay, right. Let's see if I can see anything on this board. R23, there's a 1K. So we're having to do these in this kind of orientation in order to fit them on. And what you do is you put the body of the resistor on the circle. There's no real reason. It's completely arbitrary, but it's just how the layout works. And it's a good way to know that you've done all the right bits and see how they're connected. R14 is a 1K there. There's a 1K down there. I'm only laughing because it's really difficult to see. I'm pretty sure. Does that say 1K? I'm pretty sure it does, yeah, R5. Now if you can't see what's on the PCB, then you should be referring to the BOM or the schematic, or there's some nice pictures. In fact, let me go back to this picture here. That is also going to show me R14. Which way around? This way around, this way around. So that's a 1K there. 1K there sideways. 1K down here, which is R5. 2 1Ks down the bottom. See, I knew there's another 1K. Oh, 16. Now, somebody asked me via Facebook, which might not come up on the main chat, what did I miss, the breadboard or the bomb? I'm not really sure what that's referring to. Let's see if I can get to that. Oh, that's on the output mixer. The breadboarding, definitely, because that's been the most interesting thing, I think, about doing this project. I mean, I can make any kind of kit and enjoy doing that. But the difference with this whole experience has been using the breadboard business and trying to reason out why something is working and why it does what it does, and trying to understand that. That's been challenging and enjoyable. So yeah, that's referring to the output mixer, which didn't have the breadboard. It had a different set of instructions because Moritz didn't design that one. Nathan asks, a pity this is the last. I've built most of these modules while watching. It's been a blast. Thanks, Robin. You're welcome. And this is not going to be the last by any means of my DIY builds, because I've been building them before and I will continue to build them after. And in fact, I'm feeling very strongly that I need to do a good sort of week of intense DIY building, because I've got a number of kits I want to build that have just been sitting around waiting for time. I've also got Deckard's Dream to do. So very soon, as soon as I'm feeling a bit better, I think, and I've got some other well, I mean, for instance, it's the end of the month again, which means I've got Molten Monthly to do and all sorts of other things to just get out of the way. So hopefully one of the weeks in November I'm going to focus purely on more DIY stuff. So that will be great. I'm looking forward to that. I do enjoy a good bit of that. So anyway, I need another 1K resistor. That's got orange on it, so that's not it. Those are blue and red. That's an orange, that's one of those. That looks like a 20K. Oh, this could be it. This is it. This is it. There you go. That's a 1K, yeah? Yes. Okay, good. Got it. So 1K for, those at the back is, it can't see, is brown, brown, black, black, brown. Or is it brown, black, black, brown, brown? Who knows? Who knows? Apparently that's not a flaw in the design. It's just everybody knows which way around it goes. 1K down there at R21. Good. Those are super. Let's solder those in, shall we? Rather than just putting tons and tons in, let's go a little bit more leisurely, so that it's not so crowded over the back. So now I'm holding it down with like a finger just to keep it steady, presenting the iron to a leg, hoping to get the side of the iron down on the pad while also on the leg. Giving it a good go, hopefully leaving a whole load of solder behind. That's it. Ow, that was a bit spiky. Oh, come on, you're the last one. Why are you not happening for me? Come on. Now, of course, you can have a PCB holder. You know, wonderful tools, helping hands, all sorts of things that clamp these things together so that they stay properly set and you can solder from both directions and everything. And that's awesome. You do those sorts of things. I have this masochistic sort of bent, which means that I must make it more difficult for myself. I then justify that behaviour by saying things like, oh, yeah, I'm just trying to identify with, you know, people doing it with a minimum amount of equipment. And so I do, and that's what I do, and that's how I talk about it. That's how I justify these things. I don't know about that, Ken. I don't know that I have. Don't know that I have. Okay, good. Good, that's a bunch of resistors. What's next then? Let's do these ones. I see I'm going to need to measure them, aren't I? Actually, no, I've got 20Ks here. Let's do the labels first. So that's red, black, black, red, brown. Red, black, black, red, brown. Red, black, black, red, brown. Those are other ones. See, that might also be a red, black, black, red, brown, but it might be brown. Anyway, these are 20K, so let's do the 20K ones. Those are orange ones. These ones should be 4. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, good. Let's do these then. Oh, a soldering station. Is that what you call it? You mean a better soldering station than just my fingers? I mean, you know, there's something to be said for that. I will concede. Where's my first 20K? Oh, there. 10K. R6. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. Oh, 620K. Okay, 6. Yeah, like I say, it's a bit packed on this PCB, so it's a little bit more ambiguous, some of the labelling. So I'm just using the layout picture just to confirm that I'm putting things in the right place. Normally you can read it straight off the PCB and it's completely fine, but I'm just being a little bit more cautious because it's a little hard to see. And at the same time realizing this is probably what I should have always done. But hey, get off. Yeah, no, I don't know that it's sacrifice. I think it's just pure laziness and pig-headedness, I would say. 20K down here. You know, I like to think that I'm noble, but I don't think that's really that true. Right, 7 is also 20K. Good, good. Right, let's do that little bunch. Let's do that little bunch. Good, good. Alright, what's this little fella? This is a... Ooh, well, it could be 57, or it could be 5.7. What do our choices? There's a 51. Could that be a 51? Could be a 51. There seems to be one of those. I'm just going to go back up to the bill of materials. There's a 51, that's the only 50, so that must be that. While I'm here, I've got 10 ohm. I've got, is that a, no, could be 20k. Could be 20k. $220k. Then I've got 3 of those. So they're likely to be 100k. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, so they're going to be 10k. That makes sense. And 2 10 ohms. Oh yeah, got those over there. Okay. Good. Try to keep that in my head. So this is the 51. Yeah, stuck. Get off. Right, 51. 51. What did I decide that was? Is anybody watching? Okay, so let's do the 10 ohm ones because I know where these go. So I've got 2 of those up here. I mean, 10 ohms, they can't be doing a whole lot, can they? Poor little things. They go at this top end, 10 ohm R2. And R3. This is a 220k. 220k. Down here, just the one. What one is that? R13. What's R12? A 10k. Yeah. R13's right snuck in there. That's me 220. And for 100Ks, there should be only 3. 20Ks or 1Ks. It's a 10Ks. 10Ks, there's one there. 2, 3, 4. So that's those ones. So the 3 is the 100Ks. That's right. Okay. So what have I got? Let me just do these ones. Then we put this last one in, which was the 22. 22. That look like a 22 to you? 22K? I think so. Let's say that it is. I know my multimeter is just over there. I'm going to just like flying by the seat of my pants. Yeah, that's what that is. Right. Solder this bunch, and I'll be able to put those last ones in together. Yep. Hey Andrew. Good. So this lot and this lot. So I reckon these were hundreds, didn't I? That's 100, right? Yeah? No. Yes. Those are... I've got 4 of those. 4 of those. Those are... So those... So they're all start brown. So I've got brown, orange, black, black, and brown, red. So brown, red. Red is 2, isn't it? No. Yes, so 10K would be 1. How was it? Oh, I don't remember. But anyway, I've got 3 of those and I've got 4 of those. So it must be, by default, the 3 must be 100K and the 4 must be 10K. 1, 2, 3. One, two, 3, 4. Yeah, so I'm just doing it by process of elimination. What kind of solder do I use? It's this stuff. Look, see that? Now, if you get it just right, if you get it in the light, like there you go. There you go. You can tell its origin by the reflection. See that? So I'll let you Google that. So 3 of them I got. So what I said, 100k. So yeah, I reckon the orange are 100k. Yeah. No recommendations for lead-free whatsoever, I'm afraid. It's almost, you could say, if there was one positive thing to come out of Brexit, it would be to keep your hands off our leaded solder. Thank you very much. You know, we know the risks and we're happy to take them. We try not to suck the end of our soldering irons. And we operate in a ventilated space. That is the only one I've come up with. I mean, that's not even a valid one because we already have access to lead solder. But, you know, one tries to be generous in this life. So there's 3 of those, 100Ks. These 4 then are the 10Ks. Stick these in and then we are resisted up. Wrong way up. I don't know what I'm looking at. 10k there. So R15. I'm sure that Kinkus Synth DIY guy would have some good advice on lead-free solder. That's what I said, Ken. I'm sticking by it. Okay, down here, nearly there, boys and girls. That last one in there somewhere. Oh look, I got one missing. No, that's not that. That's something else. That should be the last resistor. I think. Looking good. Let's solder them. Move on to the next thing. Sorry, back to the solder for a second. This is what I'm currently using. The name on it is not what I ordered. But it, okay. But it is. Oh, there we go. That's a better name. If that's helpful. It's just I like 0.7mm. That seems to work for me. It's multi-core, so it's got flux in it. That's really as far as my thinking goes. There was a particular brand that I ordered that this turned up instead of, which worked really well for me. But this is working just as well. It's much more that the idea that you buy some that you don't seem to get on with very much. You try something else and then, oh, everything seems to be working, and you just try to stick with it. But this does say that it might damage fertility or unborn children. Don't breastfeed. Damage to organs, blood, kidney, central nervous system. So, you know. Avoid breathing the fumes. Don't contact it while you're pregnant. Wear protective gloves. Right, okay. So don't try this at home, kids. I think, frankly, for the amount of soldering that I do, yeah, I do sporadically, lots of it, I think I'm alright. I mean, I wash my hands and stuff. I've got a fan. I mean, I certainly am not into inhaling the fumes. I'd absolutely advise you to have some kind of little fan which is blowing the fumes away, as I have here, or an extractor which is pulling them away. Yeah, because it's not very pleasant stuff to breathe. Absolutely. And if I ever found any lead-free stuff that just flowed like solder does, then I would use it. I just have not. My experience of lead-free solder has been that it's been a right pain. And I would so happily be corrected on that. Now, somebody did mention in the chat one time a little while ago that there is much better quality lead-free solder available these days, which does work brilliantly. I would be super happy to know what that is. But when I first started doing these DIY kits, I bought some lead-free solder and found it really hard, but didn't know whether it was me soldering that was really hard or anything. You know, I had no experience. I didn't know what was happening. So then when I was able to find some, when I had to get leaded soft, so I can't remember why I did. I don't know, maybe I was just trying something out, but I got some leaded solder, and suddenly the whole job was so much easier. To the point we just go, oh, I've just been doing it wrong all this time. So that's why I currently use leaded solder. But as I say, I'm not a purist by any means. It's just what worked. I would much rather be able to be pregnant and doing this. Yeah, I agree, Ian. It just doesn't work well. I'd like to say that it does, but I cannot. Okay. So that is, I believe, all the resistors. Oh, they're a motley crew. When you stick them this way up, I mean, you know, it doesn't lend itself to looking particularly neat. Look at that one. That's fantastic. Fantastic, I tell you. Right, where were we? Let's have a shimmy on down our build guide. Not quite that far, obviously. That's all the resistors. Is it looking the same? So next up, insert and solder the electrolytic capacitors. So I've got one of those. I've just got the one. There is just the one? No. No, there we go. I've got one hidden over there. There we go, two. Got two roundy things on here that look very much like that's what they're referring to. So long leg positive, as we know. Short leg negative, as is labelled on the side of the thing. Short leg negative. Now on the board, on this particular board, you've got a line, and that line indicates the negative side, so that's short leg. The square hole on this particular occasion is not always the same. On every time you do this, it's not always consistent. But in this occasion, the square one is positive. So we'll put that in there. Now I'm wondering whether this is a little bit high for other things that are going on, but let's just put them in for the minute. There and there. because I've still got transistors and stuff to stick in, and they're not very high, so I don't know. Well, he's putting the whole lot in all at once. Maybe that's the answer. So, well, they all hold in because they've got quite strong legs. None of them are going to fall out, so the height of it doesn't really matter massively at this particular point. Or does it? This one, you see, this one, if I put that in, that's going to hold, that's going to just drop out. Yeah, see, yeah, let's not put those in. Let's not do it. Come on. Come on. So this is a similar height to some of the other bits in here. Maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll just stick my transistors in first because they're going to be the lowest. Right, so there were two types of transistor. Can't remember which was which. Nah, neither can I. But we have two lots. We have a whole bunch. So make sure you put them in the right place. Oh, okay. So at the top here, we've got 5/5/8 and a 5/4/8. So we're sort of pairing them together, aren't we? Because we're doing two opposite things. We're going to have to go back. So I've got 3. So this is 5/4/8. 5/4/8. And then these 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I've got a rogue. Got a rogue one. That's a 5/5/8. 5/5/8. These are 5/4/8, of which I've got 4. Is that how it should be? Let's go back up. Sorry, somebody's having a conversation in a group that I'm in, which is not helpful. Yeah, there's 4 and 2. So that's right then. Okay. So coming back to our thing here. So you've got a pair of 5/4/8 and a pair. No, you haven't. You've got a pair of 5. Oh, hang on. There's 2 in total. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's try to make sure we get this. Let's get this right. So 5/4/8 and 5/4/8. 2 of those together. That's this shape one. The orientation has to be right, so it's like their faces are facing each other. And that little middle one can stick out a little bit. Shut up. Right, that one in as well. Facing one another. Is it okay that they touch? I'm going to go with yes. Then on the other side we get a 5/5/8 and a 5/4/8. So let's put me 5/4/8 in first. So I already know what that's doing. Did that go forward or back? So in this internal bit here, the 5/4/8 is on this side. Yeah, facing in, and then this one, which is the 5/5/8, which is doing the opposite fold. Goes in there facing it. Whoa, all those legs I've got trouble with. Nice. Nice. Let's bend these apart a little bit. So I'm less likely to bridge them if they're at least bent a little bit apart. Out. Nice. Then there's another pair down here. Five, 4, 8 is on the inside. And this last one, 5, 5, 8. Good, transistor heaven that is. I think I'll waz those in real quick. These are small, very small. Alright, that seemed to go okay. Oh! Oh, there's a whole bunch over here I hadn't even looked at. These are really weeny. I think that's good. I think so. As far as I can see, those are all looking pretty good. Okay, good. So now we've got a couple of foil capacitors. We've got this bit and then our two chunky things. Oh, and our trimmer. I think these can all go in together. This is a J100 2N2 square thing. So that's the 1 micro, which is probably that, and that's the 2N2 there. So these capacitors are not bipolar. Bipolar, is that the right word? So they're not, doesn't matter which way up they go. So it goes in there. This one, the J63, goes in here. Good, good. Room for something in there. Not sure what at this point. And the trimmer goes here. It says on the board where the nut on the trimmer should go, which way round it goes, so that's very, very useful. I'll stick that in there. Is this now too high for our friend? I think I can probably do all those together. You know what? I think the trimmer is going to cause me trouble. So I'm going to take that trimmer out for the minute. That's better. That allows me to put this power socket in without too much trouble. Now I need to make sure I've got this round the right way. So we've got a little nick off the corner here. That, I believe, refers to the bit that's missing on the front of your power thing. Those two things go together, I believe, but I'm always a little bit unsure about that, so I'm going to go down to the picture to make sure that it's the same. Yeah, you can see that the space comes down. Yeah, got that? So that's now facing down. Now again, you can tape it in or blue tack it in or whatever. I'm just going to turn it over and stick it down because I'm a bit of a cowboy. Crazy like that. And then, because it's lifted up a little bit, I'm going to push it down with my soldering iron and heat up that leg and that pad. Give it some solder, take it away, and then try to hold it down as I lift the soldering iron off. And I can check that that's more or less straight, and it darn well is, so I can do the rest. Good, good. And these two fellas down here. Obviously they're all the right height, doing the same height at the same time. You don't need helping hands. Good gracious, no. No, 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 no. That looks like that's in. Good, good. Right, now we can put in these fellas. So long leg positive into the square hole, negative bit against the line. Long leg positive, negative bit against the line. Put the trimmer in. Note where the square, where the where the nut goes. What am I thinking of? Come on. Nice height on everything. That should work. Last bit of this. Oh, that's not working. Come on, try it again. Oops, I cut most of the solder off that one. Good lord, that a little bit short. Sure, it's fine. Get off magnets. Right, it must be getting there. Good. So what's left? Trimmer, transistors, critically important, first pin, blah blah, la di da di da. Did that bit. Okay, now inspect the solder joints. Yeah, they look awesome. Insert the jack sockets. Don't solder them. Put the potentiometer and don't solder them. No, jack sockets and solder them. Moritz is very keen on the whole sticking in the sockets and just soldering them like there's no problem in doing that. I tend to be more cautious. I don't like having to desolder these things, so I put them in and I just wait. So you want to put this in now. I like to solder them once I've got the front panel on. Have they gone through? They have not. Right, because I bent this for the breadboard, now messed that up a little bit. Let's try that again. Go through there. That's better. So it's suggesting that you put this on before you solder the pot to make sure it's moving freely, so it's sort of correctly aligned. That's a good idea. I also recommend doing it for the sockets as well, because they can drift an alarming amount. So I am going to expertly put this nut on here. Oh, come on! Thank you. Oh, dear. Okay, wait for it. I could do a half-hour show of just putting these nuts on. Okay. Need a little bit of thought, because if you pull those up too much, that's going to pull up too much, and then it's not going to work. So always follow the instructions rather than what I say is the answer to that. But I still prefer just to do that. But what you want to do is not have the pot in, right? Because having the pot in means the whole thing's just going to fall over and it's going to go stupid. And it's going to pull itself out. So, oh my goodness. See, that there's a novel way of doing it. If you attach it to the front panel first, then there's no way it's not going to just slide in there nicely with all these things going in different directions. Oh, just kill me. Kill me! Oh, dear. The last thing you need when following a kit is initiative. Don't ever have any. You just send yourself down a rabbit hole that you don't need to be going right now. Okay, that's back in. I'm still persevering with my having the front panel on while soldering these little buggers in, alright? Because I still believe that's a good idea. And I'm doing it. Now be careful, because you're now trying to solder in amongst all these bleeding components. You can't even see where the things are, and you're likely to melt things. So just be careful. So I've got to try to squeeze in here, put some heat on this leg. Come on, come on. Yes. Okay. Some success. Let's try to get this one here. Am I leaning on? Be very careful. Oh, that's a mess. Oh, that's good, that's good. How am I going to get into this one? I think kind of this way. Be careful of that plastic. Well, that was a good load of solder. Good, right, nicely done. I've got to get in here again. Be aware of this plastic here and plastic here. I'm going to go for that one, I think. Good, good. That's just a big, enormous glob of solder. I don't know whether that worked very well. Should be alright. That's not very pretty. I wanted to flow down a bit. That worked a bit better. Maybe I should get me solder sucker in just for fun, eh? Because that's just too much. Mind what I'm doing, what I'm touching. Maybe this is too much trouble. Yeah. Alright, I'm fussing over this now. I don't really need to be. It's fine. It's fine. Were there 3 of these things? One down the bottom here. Clean the end of your soldering iron so it's not all oxidized, so it's nice and silvery. That's also going to help. Again, try not to melt any plastic. I've got it stuck on. Oh, it's stuck. It's stuck. Like, there we go. Come on. Yeah, okay, that's good. Can I get in the side here? I think I can. Good. There's just one more in the middle of Trouble Town. There. No, that's not going to work. Oh my goodness, how am I getting in there then? Go straight down, but that's not really worked for me very well because the tip doesn't seem to do the heat thing very particularly brilliantly. You kind of need a little bit of the edge. But hey, let's see how we go. Let's just jam solder in there. Move it around enough. Oh look, it seems to be swimming. Swim, swim. Oh, that's awesome. Got away with that, I think. Good. So they are in, and because I put the front panel on, they're nice and straight. Just got to take it off. That smells like I melted something. Oh, I did, look. Yeah, big time. Oh no, I've probably lost a bit of capacitance. Has just poured out the side here. Flipping heck. Oh, it's always a casualty. Oh, duh. Right. Anyway, soldering on, as they say. So now we put this on and we're nearly done. Kind of feel like it needs to have a nut supporting it up to the neck, but hey, that's going to be fine. That's going to be fine. Intensity. Nice. So put my nuts back on. Oh, we've got to do the... So I haven't done the chip yet. find the screw thread. It's there, I can feel it. Good. Alright, just got to solder that in, and it's a good one. Now, at times like these, it could do with sitting on a couple of things. Otherwise, it's going to fall over. But I'm just going to give it a go. Yep. That's in. Alright, just the big lugs to do. How do I get into there without breaking those transistors? I want to get inside really, but no, I'm going to have to try to do it sort of here. Oh! Ah! No! Hold it together! That's just an enormous lump of solder that's not doing anything. Just keep adding more solder to it, that's the answer. I don't know about that one. Just not getting an angle. Let's try that. Oop. Oh, now my solder's all in the wrong direction. That's better. Well, that should all be more or less there. That moves all right. Everything appears to be in the right place. I can smell burning again. What did I burn? It's looking okay. It's looking okay. Good. Now this thing here, I've already straightened the legs because I had it in the breadboard. So this has got to go the right way round. The right way round needs to have the nick that's on the board and on the dip socket that I carry through going along with the one that's on the chip. So it just sits in the holes and then you squeeze it down. That should be it. That should be it. Congratulations, it says. You have assembled it. Now off you go and make some music. Enjoy. Thanks. Thanks, Moritz. It's really appreciated. Like I say, there's tons of really good information at the back of the manual on soldering and stuff. Hey, look, it even says 0.7mm solder works best. I agree. Soldering flux, never used it in my life. Right. Okay. So. Let's bring in the machine. I'm just going to put this camera up here a bit. Ooh, ah, yeah. Let's move it about there. Making a hash of this right now. Okay, something like that. I realise I haven't turned the sound on anywhere. But let's see if we can get lights on first. Now, of course, there's no lights on this one, so that's not going to tell us anything. Over there a little bit. Okay, got all of that? More or less. There's a little bit missing off the side, but we don't mind. We'll work that out in a minute. So, I've got my ribbon already plugged in because I look at things beforehand. So let's just check this is working first. Yeah, there we go. Lights on. Blah blah blah. Wavefolder. Power can only go one way round. Let's see whether it gives off any burny sort of bits. No, seems okay. Seems okay. See if we can squirrel this away in here. Quite excited by the idea of this being complete. I knew this would happen. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, darn it. I knew it's like a slither of a millimetre at this top end is going to make me, because of this power connector is just that little bit wide. I'm going to have to... That's a pain. Right. I did find my better screwdriver. I'm going to have to shift everything across a little tiny bit. And these, like I say, these screw threads on this case are a little bit, and I've had to find my own screws for it. I think in the future, or if they're doing this whole system thing, they really should supply appropriate screws, because all the ones I've had have not done particularly well. Maybe I can get it in at the bottom end. No, it's just too big. It's just too big. Madcap, yes, thanks. I've got lots of Thonk knobs. But I can see a bag of them just over there, funnily enough. But, you know, keeping it true at the moment. Keeping it true. Right. So I'm going to have to unscrew everything in order to make it wide enough. Or, I mean, it's only the power connector that is causing this not to fit, I think. So I could potentially slither some off with a knife. Because if you look at that, it's just sticking out, although I can't really say it's sticking out more than the front panel. Can I? No, they're about bang on, in which case it's not going to sit down. So I'm going to need to undo all the bleeding screws. See whether I can somehow find a fraction of a millimetre in pushing them about the place. These screws are real trouble. So this is some level of delayed gratification, this is. Oh, I've still got an early in that bit down there. Oh, they're all in so tight. Oh, that one's just rounded, but it's not down anyway. I'm going to have to get some proper tools. Oh, oh goodness me. Oh, that's not going anywhere. Flipping it. Who put these in? Come on. Right, so what was it that didn't move? That one, but that's not all the way down anyway. So let's try to shift everything. How is this going to work? Come on. It must work. Oh, look. It gave me enough. It gave me enough. It's still tough to get in. It's just a slight overlap. Okay. Whew. Drama. If I get this bit here screwed down, and I can bash the other bit with a bit of a hammer. Needs a little bit more. There. It's in. It's in. Nobody breathe. Okay, super. What time is it? Look at that, did it in under 2 hours. That's good. So I'm pretty sure Erica do provide the screws for these because I got it a bit early. I think that might be the reason why I didn't. Particularly if you're buying it with an entire system. Good, can you see that in there? Yeah, good. Right, let me just go and turn a few things on. Sorry if there's any unexpected noise. Or no noise, but I haven't plugged it in. Okay. Plugged in over here. So I need a nice long something over there to get into the mixer. You hear that all right, yeah? Right. So, wavefolding. Right, so what we need to do is we need to take our sawtooth output, plug that into our saw to triangle input, I assume, and then that must be internally patched to the input to give us our output. Should I be using a scope at this point? Oh, I can't be asked. Can you? We're just going to hear it. That's going to be the plan. Let's just go straight forward hearing it. Okay, I've had a thought. One thing this doesn't have actually is a mult. I think it would have been really good to build a mult in here somewhere, because it's like you've got two envelopes and only got one gate out, little things like that. So the odd mult I think would have been really good just to finish it off. So that should be more or less a triangle, yeah, which it is pretty much, because I've gone sawtooth into triangle. If I go directly in the input, I still get my sawtooth. So going into the sawtooth to triangle gives me more of a triangle. That's working. Then as we turn up the intensity, oh look, that's really nice. And then there's the double fold. And then we don't have a CV control over that. Hey, but hey, the Mode Mavis doesn't have that either. VCA Normals, says Neil, thank you for that. Well, that's pretty lovely. So let's stick that to one side. Maybe if I can get that into the picture, that might be entertaining for people, particularly as it's the wrong orientation, which will just mess you about. So let's see if we can get a tune going. Got any sort of random cables knocking around here? So what I want the output to actually go into the filter. Why the heck not? Then I want the output of the filter to go into the VCA. I haven't really thought about this particularly, so so I've now got an output mixer, so I can take the out, put that in there. Do I really care? Is that important? I don't know, but then it means I'm going to need an output. And what am I actually measuring now? I'm going to be measuring the entire output of everything. So let's try a line output. No, let's try phone output. That might be a bit more of the right sort of output. Getting bloody nothing. Oh, there's something there. Input level. Looks like I'm coming out of phones now. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe let's just go straight through this mixer. Let's take the clip output. Let's make everything as bad as possible. Gate out, envelope coming back to VCA. Think about it. Let's take the inverted out into the filter for fun. see if I can add to it a little bit using the pulse output. Put that into the mixer. Exactly what I was trying to do. No? Oh, I thought that would work. What am I not doing right there then? That's the output. Have I got two outputs connected? No. So I need, oh, I know what I haven't done. I need to take the output from the mixer back into the filter. That was what I was trying to do. That was the plan. That was the plan. Just scurrying around for patch cables at the moment. Oh, that's a nice coloured one. Because all the cables are of course all over the floor, just over there. So output of the mixer, clip out because that's quite nice, into there. So now I've got pulse width modulation on the pulse that's in there, as well as wavefolding on the triangle that's in there. Although not particularly easy to hear all of those. Alright, just Instagramming. Wavefolding like a good increase the VCA release slightly and change the attack time. Okay. What did you say? For your softer vibes, how about a percussion thingy using the noise? I don't know, Ken. How about that? So what you're saying is I should take the noise. I mean, I've got a sample and hold here, for heaven's sake. Sample and hold's good for things. But let's take just some white noise. Let's put that in the VCA. Let's take a clock out into that second envelope, which is not doing anything. I have a feeling my second envelope is dead. No, okay, no, there it is. Is that going to work? Yep, that's going to work. So then let's take that to there. Take that out to the mixer. There's something. Getting that. So that that VCA is not really working at all. Oh, because I've got the offset the wrong way. Okay. Worked it out. That's what I was trying to work out. Where did my thing go? What am I doing? Yeah, this is great. It's good. Because essentially what I've got in this system is I've got like 3 different ways to change the tone of the sound. Well, probably a lot more than that, but this is what I'm thinking of at the moment. So I've got your filter. That's easy enough, we understand that enough. That can go nicely. Obviously a big effect with the filter. Fold. Gives me another change through there. And I've got pulse width modulation. So all of those things are giving me a bit of a added tonal differences. Alright, so I've had some requests just to finish this off the next 5 minutes. Okay, and that was to put I don't know what I'm doing. Put a there we go, there's an output of the thing. Put an envelope. Yeah, through the fold. I don't want that in as a mix. I want that in to do something else. So like it's not that one I'm taking, it's this one I'm taking. Something is causing something back going into there. So there's the LFO coming from the envelope, just going through the filter. It's going into the Wavefolder first. I'm only actually getting the square wave at the moment, aren't I? Yeah, doesn't matter, because it's the modulation that we're folding. So yeah, that's quite interesting. There you go. Anything else you're dying to see? Otherwise, we could probably call it. Considering I've destroyed it now. What have I done? Are those all off? Is that the idea? That's probably what I've done. So there we go. Quite nice, isn't it? It's a nice little system. I mean, it definitely has that Erica Synths vibe about it. Maybe that's just the knobs and the font and those sorts of bits and pieces, but it definitely feels Erica in nature. The combination of all the bits together is surprisingly good, actually. Because when you focus on individual modules, I think during the build of all this, they've been good, but I've not necessarily been wowed by an individual thing. You know, the oscillator, yeah, that's all right. The filter, yeah, that's all right. The envelopes, never quite entirely got my head around those, but no, they all seem to work. But so what I mean is, as it starts to come together as a whole, I'm finding it a lot more pleasurable to play with. So there's bits that are highlighting themselves. I mean, the fold is really nice. It's a really nice change to tone within the sound. I mean, I'm blending it with other things as well, so I'm not focusing on it individually by itself, but it's got a nice vibe to it. The output of the mixer, that clip output, I never really appreciated that when we made it, but now, as it's starting to overload a little bit with more inputs into it, I'm starting to appreciate it. I'm starting to feel it coming through. It's nice. Can't remember what to do with slew, but I'm sure it will come clear at some point. But it does have a grit to it. That filter is really nice. I like its fierceness when you start pushing it around the place. But also, you know, with a bit more of a subtler envelope to it, it's nice. It feels, you get this roundness, this bounce to it, which is great. Pulse width modulation works really well. The little 5-step sequencer, can't beat that, can you? 5 steps, oh, it's just the best. Nice and simple, but you know, just mixing a few things together, you can get a real sense of difference out of it, which is nice. I did fear slightly that we'd get to this point and I'd feel disappointed or cheated. Not cheated, because modular, it requires quite a few things to come together. But then that's not actually right, because when I look back on earlier videos that I made, or when I did that seminar for Sound and Sound at Synth Fest a couple of years ago, just on starting out in modular, with just a few things, it does start to come together. I mean, you start off obviously with a bit of a sine wave going, well, what the heck am I doing with this? But very quickly, once you start creating a tune or a drone that moves, then it does start to unwrap itself and unfold itself to you, and you become more and more engaged with it. And that's what we're finding here. Very much, that even with a single VCO and a single filter, with a single voice, there's a couple of good choices, like having 2 envelopes, which are also LFOs, having 2 VCAs, are really good. This whole sample and hold and noise thing is a whole area to explore all by itself, I think, really. Yeah, good. I wish it had a couple of molts, because I do have these things hanging off it. Maybe Erica just used to throw in a couple of those sorts of things, just to give you the ability to do a little bit, just to spread those signals a little bit further about the place. Good though, eh? Just excuse me, just let me blow my nose. Excuse me. So there we go then. So there we go. Nice. I just need to finish it off with a couple of screws. And then that's going to be quite a cute little thing. Now I wonder whether you could teach a modular with this. I think you probably could. Good. So there you go. The Wavefolder works perfectly. Really nice. Double wavefolding as well, which gives it something more than it would have otherwise. Just bring my mic back a little bit closer. It's good, yeah. It's a nice addition to it. I mean, there's no CV control, which is a shame. But as I say, the Moog Mavis doesn't have CV control over its Wavefolder either. And that's like a proper posh, like. So, you know, you've got to have some manual control. It's got to be something that you're supposed to be doing, I suppose, ultimately. What was the trimmer for? Good question. What was the trimmer for? I can't remember. What was the trimmer for? Because my browser completely disappeared for reasons I can't explain. So I'm not going to be able to get that up for you. That's the... Fits that in. Congratulations, you've completed it. Patch the sawtooth. You can now proceed with calibration, which consists of adjusting the multi-turn trim pot. Please follow instructions above. Above. Slow fuses, ferrite bead, 10 ohm, power connector. Now we did the calibration was to do with the triangle, wasn't it? It's to do with getting a decent triangle from your sawtooth. And if I remember putting it through the scope, it was a reasonable triangle, but it wasn't particularly on. So I think I could go back in and twiddle that a little bit just to get a better triangle wave from my sawtooth wave. I think that's what it was from. No, I mean, no CV over the Wavefolder. Yeah, it's not fabulous, but also it's common, as I said. As I pointed out with the Moog, it's not uncommon and it does give you something to do. What are you lot talking about? Oh well, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so there, I think we got there. You look a bit rough. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still at the end of this cold, as I say, which has been doing me in. I slept for about 2 hours this afternoon. It's also half term, so I've been about all over the place. Been to London last couple of days. You know, one gets about. So thanks for that. Hey, thanks for pointing that out. So I think that'll probably do us. I think that's enough. It's to say, it's just gone 10 o'clock. That'll be a good way. I think we established that it makes a nice sound, had a bit of a play, and overall it's a great little system. I will try to put together a summary video if I can, but that probably means I'm going to have to download all of the live streams in order to cut little bits out, and that's a long job. So I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But I do have this idea, one of the magical ideas that I have no time to implement but hope to, is to create a mechanism by which I can lend this out to people who would like to have a go. And so I'm looking into that at the moment, and that might be a possibility. Because I'm unlikely to particularly make great use of it now that it's finished. And it is awesome, you know. And it's the sort of thing that people should have an opportunity to play on. I think that would be great. Particularly people who don't normally get their hands on modular synths. So not just for all you, oh yeah, I've got 1,000 modules and I could just do with another 9 more. No, people who would like to have a go at doing modular. I think that would be interesting. In fact, maybe what I should probably do, I should do a walkthrough of how to patch it. Maybe that's the best way to do it. I don't know, who has time for that sort of thing? We shall see. Anyway, so that'll probably bring us to the close, I think. So tomorrow I'm going to be shooting the Molten Monthly. With a bit of luck, I'll try to squeeze that out the best I can. I might deliberately make it a little bit shorter just so that I can get it done. Not that there's been a particular large amount of stuff. I mean, I guess the you see that in the shot, not quite. Micro Freak, Mini Freak, of course, is a big thing of the month, along with the Mooga Fuga plugins. Did you notice I did a video on both? Wasn't that awesome? What a great way of picking up as many clicks as possible. I thought so. Genius, I thought, in my weakened state. And yes, but also very soon, in the next week or so, I have a big announcement of my own to do. So do look out for that, of a forthcoming Molten modular module, which will be which I will be live streaming, possibly next week, possibly the week after. I will let you know as soon as it's ready to go. So that's exciting. Look forward to that. Otherwise, all sorts of stuff coming along as per usual. It's just the end of the month, so I'm going to get knuckled down after my Molten Monthly to finish a load of stuff off, and then hopefully in the next couple of weeks too, I will try to get into some serious DIY of some other bits and pieces. I do not have a drum log. Sorry, I do not have one. Christmas special on the Deckard's Dream, yeah. I definitely hope to do that in the next couple of weeks, Ken. I hope to do a day on it at the very least. You can just turn the knob, Ian. You know, that's probably the best way. Oh no, this is more than a hole. More than a hole. Okay, good. So, great. Thank you very much for your attention and your time. This has been 10 months of this project, and I'm really pleased that it's come to an end. You know, I don't feel sad about it at all. I feel like we've really achieved something. We've really brought something together, and I've really enjoyed playing with it, and I'm very pleased that it sounded okay. So that's good. Good job, Erica. Thanks, Moritz. You did a fine job on all of these manuals. I've worked you really hard as well, and criticised every bit that tripped me up. But in the hope that that's not going to trip other people up. But I really appreciate your patience as well, and your willingness to change a little bit, and to add a little bit, and to respond to some of the issues that I had along the way. That's been great. So it's a superb kit. So you can get all of this for about €600 from Erica Synths or from Thonk, I believe. Get the whole lot and work your way through it. It'd be a fantastic winter project for somebody. Awesome. So there you go. Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, do that liking and subscribing thing. Come over to Patreon. I seem to be, you know, at one time I had 100 patrons. I've now got about 86. So, I mean, I appreciate every single one of them, and all the ones who have come before and have just thrown a little bit of cash my way. That's most welcome. So you're welcome to join us over there. If you're interested in, as I say, in the potential of borrowing things from me over time, then Patreon is definitely the place where you're going to need to be for that to be enabled. What is going on with my voice? It's nearly gone now, which is not looking good for my Molten Monthly tomorrow. So I'm going to shut up so I can talk tomorrow. Yeah, I know everyone's skint, Robin. I know everyone is. But hey, Halloween special? No, probably not. Good. Thanks very much. And in the meantime, go and make those tunes. Make those tunes.